Hello, good morning. Our first issue is delimitation in Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir Delimitation Commission has been appointed. Why? In 2019, Jammu and Kashmir state has been bifurcated into Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory with Legislative Assembly and Ladakh Union Territory without Legislative Assembly. For Legislative Assembly, we have to decide the constituencies. So, to delimit the constituencies, government has appointed Jammu and Kashmir Delimitation Commission, and this commission has recently completed the consultations. This has considered 2011 census, topography, difficult terrain, means of communication and convenience available. These are the things that the commission has taken into account to delimit the constituencies. Now, along with delimitation of constituencies, this particular commission is going to reserve the seats for SCs and STs. This is not very significant when you consider other states because we see this as a normal exercise. But then in Jammu and Kashmir, this is the first time reservations are provided for SCs and STs in legislative assemblies or reservations in legislature. Next issue is cooperation ministry. Recently, government has reshuffled the cabinet members and then cooperations ministry has been created, new ministry has been created, and as of now our home minister has become the head of this particular ministry. But then government said that with cooperation comes the development. With that aim, we started this particular ministry. It coordinates with all the cooperative, multi-state cooperative societies, all that. That's the stated aim. That is good. But cooperatives comes under state list under the 7th schedule. States are criticizing that this is coming into our domain. This is coming into our domain. But then government says that it is to streamline the process of doing business for cooperatives and it is to enable the development of multi-state cooperatives. But then any time when there is something like this wherein center is coming into the state's powers, negotiations, consultations, this is important. All the center state related commissions, including Poonchi Commission, Sarkaria Commission, they all mentioned this. Yes, central government can take up such measures for the overall development, but negotiations at the state level with the states, this will give more cooperation. It might take time, it might get delayed. But states will cooperate when there is negotiation. States feel that we all also equal partners in the development. Otherwise, there might be negative repercussions under this. Next one is WhatsApp's privacy policy. Recently, WhatsApp has mentioned that we issued the privacy guidelines, but then we are deferring them till the government passes personal data protection bill. There is a committee called B.N. Sri Krishna committee. That committee has recommended for personal data protection bill. Draft bill. This was kept under the standing committee's review. It is not yet been passed by the parliament. Once it is passed, how the privacy should be, how data protection should be, how data security law should be there, all these things will be mentioned under this particular bill and when it passes as an act. That's why WhatsApp says that, see, we are under criticism because of these privacy guidelines. Let the government, let the parliament pass this bill. After that only we will enforce these privacy guidelines in India. That's the stand taken by WhatsApp. This, we have to understand this in the context of growing criticism against the social media companies in following the government's guidelines. In that context, WhatsApp has mentioned this. Next issue is insurance for Himalayan yak population, especially in the states and union territories, sub-union territory of Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir, Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Himachal Pradesh, West Bengal and Uttarakhand. In these states, we have Himalayan yak population, approximately around 58,000. But their numbers are dwindling very quickly. 24% decline is there in the last 7 years. In this context, National Research Center on Yak, this has proposed for this. This has tied up with National Insurance Company for insuring the livestock. That means the person who is rearing this particular livestock, they have to first register this particular yak. They ear tag it, they describe the details of that particular animal and then they maintain the database. Once this particular yak dies, the person gets the insurance. Why should this be done? Because people protect now. People think that, okay, Even if there is a loss because of this rearing of Himalayan yak, we are going to have assured income in the form of, or assured money return in the form of insurance. That's why this has been proposed. Now, next one is China-Sri Lanka relations. China has helped, in the last 2 years, China has helped Sri Lanka in many ways under currency swap agreement, under grants. $2 billion grant has been provided. Sinopharm vaccines have been given as a donations also. But then slowly there's a negative sentiment growing in Sri Lanka against China. Why? Public scrutiny is increasing. Why? Recently, Chinese Colombo Port City Bill, which is considered as Chinese colony, that has been dubbed as Chinese colony. So that means all the parties or all the groups in Sri Lanka are not taken into account when government authoritatively dealt with this. And then China is not seen as partner and contributor, but is seen as contributor in terms of goods, in terms of human resources. So in all these, Sri Lankans see China as competitor because Chinese investments are leaving the employment opportunities to the Sri Lankans. That's why they see it as competitor, someone who takes away their opportunities. And then Chinese Tamil sentiments. Chinese see Sri Lanka as majorly Sinhalese Buddhist country. But then we know that Tamil is a national language there. Tamilians are there. They follow different religion. So in this context, Tamilian sentiments, these are all some of the reasons for growing negative sentiments against China in Sri Lanka. Next issue is Section 66A of IT Act 2000. Recently, Supreme Court in PUCL case mentioned that this particular IT section under IT Act has been struck down in 2015 as unconstitutional, but still we are using it. In this context, it said that police chiefs, directorates of prosecution, they have to proactively convey the lower courts that these are the provisions that have become unconstitutional. While investigating, prosecuting, and framing the cases, they have to consider the unconstitutional section. They have to leave them. That kind of awareness and all should be there. Finally, Indian democracy and comparison with China. Whenever we say that why China's economy is growing, why investments are coming up in China in this context, one of the supporting arguments towards China is authoritarian country. They can take decisions whenever they require. That's why they are growing more. But India, as we have democracy, everyone makes the noise. That's why it is getting delayed. In part, it is true. But then, democracy allows various voices to be heard. Negotiations are possible. Consensus is possible, especially in a diverse country. A democracy is necessary, right? Otherwise, it becomes very dangerous. If you don't listen to anyone, if you want to do whatever you want to do, it leads to rebellions. It leads to insurgencies. In this context, democracies are better for inclusive growth. Negotiations and compromises, they reduces the conflict. They promote the growth, justice, sustainability, and social inclusion. And growth is not the goal in itself. There are other means. That's why Indian democracy needs support in this context. Yes, we have to speeden up the things. But we cannot compare China and say that we should follow that kind of authoritarian model. No. Democracy is the ultimate way forward for India. Thank you very much. All the very best.